Welcome to For Your Consideration. My name's Sterling Hedgpeth. I'm the programming manager for both the DocLands and Mill Valley Film Festivals. And you've been watching preparations to be together for an unknown period of time. Hungary's official submission for the Best International Film Academy Award. And joining us is Lily Horvát, the writer and director of the film. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, this film starts so intriguingly. We're not quite sure if Márta is an unreliable narrator. We're not sure whether what she sees is real or not. It's always intriguing, and we're not even sure if the film is linear or not in how you're telling it. And that is such a smart and such an effective way to start the film. What was your intention around setting the tone by this kind of nice little storytelling craftsmanship?
Actually, it was a decision that we made in the editing room to start the film this way, because we had this, I think it's a beautiful shot in the airplane, because it's pretty much sums the story up, that we are above the clouds and then disappear in the clouds, and it's so misty, and then we come to the ground and see a different view, let's say. And this was meant to be actually the first shot of the film, and the editor Károly Szalai and I went through the material, of course, tons of times, and then we found this picture of which we shot while we were shooting the sex scene. It was a found image, let's say, that it wasn't planned to be shot. It was like there was a mirror in the set, and when we were after shooting the scene, and we were all relieved, and it's the actors, of course, and they were just laying on the ground, and then the DP Robert Mali told me that, okay, shall we shoot this last picture, and then he photographed them in the mirror, and there was this strange image, and we decided to use it as a flash forward in the beginning to make an emphasis on this whole ambiguity of the movie.
Well, and the fact that you're able to continue to stretch out that ambiguity more and more, but we still learn more and more about Márta along the way. And the more we learn about how smart and how creative and how really good at her job that she is, our assumptions or impressions continue to shift and evolve. And obviously, the actress Natasha Stork has a lot to do with that. Tell us a little bit about casting her, since she's in almost every single frame of the film.
Yeah. So we started casting by casting the female lead, just because what you're saying, because she's everywhere in the film. And I was looking for an actress who was really intelligent in the first place, to believe her that she's a neurosurgeon, and I was looking for someone who has an intriguing mix of strength and fragility in herself, and which is really crucial for the role, and for someone who has a rich inner world, who is not afraid of being alone, and but sees that rather as an opportunity for a journey inside. And Natasha had all this in herself, but there was one problem with her, that this was her first big screen role, so it was kind of a risky decision for me to make. And a lot of people told me that, okay, so shouldn't we use a more experienced actress, etc. But I'm so happy I went after my intuition, because she was absolutely gorgeous to work with.
were there any, because there's so many shots of her, Marta, by herself, where she's not talking, she's just being very reflective, being very insular. Were there things about the character that she brought as an actress that surprised you, or fleshed out the character more than you expected?
Mm, yeah, we were pretty much following the screenplay, and yeah, it's hard to tell because yeah, she had a big task because she's a bit younger than the role. Actually, it's a woman approaching 40, and she was 35, and by the time we shot the film, and it's and she looked even younger at the time, and we were experimenting with like different makeup tricks, and then it didn't work well, and then I told her that, Natasha, you have to do it from inside, and she put really a lot of work into it, and maybe that's one thing I can say, and she put like minor but really important things. For instance, when we were shooting this scene where she's given this envelope with money by the patient. And this is something that is really common in Hungary, unfortunately, or it is obligatory, let's say, and as I suppose in the US, it doesn't work like that. And there was this dialogue in the script that she returns the envelope, and in the script, the patient says that we thought it was working like that, and she says that not with me, and then we were rehearsing the scene, and that she said that the doctor visit doesn't look down or on her colleagues in this way, and then she says in the final version, it's maybe I don't. It's hard for me to recall the final, the English dialogue, but maybe she says there's no usual or something like that. So it's like being more, neutral.
Well, we learn a lot about her from all the males in her orbit, because she's surrounded by people who condescend to her, who are very skeptical about her skills, and she has to prove herself even more. And so just by seeing her do that, we learn so much more about how reliable she probably is. And the question about her being a narrative, we start aligning ourselves more with her point of view, because we see how good she is at everything else that we're noticing.
Yeah, absolutely. It was intentional that at the beginning of the story we see that she's quite lost. She doesn't know what to think of this, what has happened. So she's like a seemingly crazy woman, racing after some guy, and then it turns out that she's a brilliant neurosurgeon that is meant to be a counterpoint to this madness theory in the viewer.
And I think, as we finally discover, I mean, she didn't just make this up. She had an encounter with him, although she invested a lot of herself personally in her connection with him. And so it almost seems more like insight or foresight, that she willed this relationship to happen, that he may have been on the fence, he may have been uncertain, but she knew what she wanted, even if she couldn't quite make sense of it herself. Tell us a little bit about how you wanted that ending to come off.
Yeah, I wanted this woman to follow her intuition throughout the movie, and that she has to be proved to be right about this intuition, because these two guys obviously have something to do with each other, and the end scene, it's no, it's the promise of an actual relationship, and that's a different question if it's going to work or not. And this is something that our film won't discuss.
Well, it ends up being a perfect way to provide some resolution for her, because we want her to be happy. We see all the risks that she takes, and we want her to be right about that. And it's so nice to be able to see that she asserted herself. Um, was there any other parts of editing that also allowed you to manipulate the way the story unfolded in order to allow that ending? Because we learn about the truth about him very late in the story, based on his confession to the door. What were some of the other things that changed because of the way you structured the film in the editing room?
Mm. Yeah, the psychiatrist scenes were longer ones and not so fragmented. So they were like, there were maybe 3 big scenes or 4, I don't remember. And now we have them throughout the story, but shorter ones. And we decided to use them as a sort of narration that follows Márta's story. That's a decision we made in the editing room. And then I left out some really beautiful scenes at the beginning of the film, because like her wandering around in Budapest, and these were really beautiful. But I felt that this film actually starts where the 2 of them meet, actually, and when he says that I don't know you, and we had to reach that point the fastest we could. So now it's at the 7th minute of the film, and yeah. So, but such things happen in the editing room always.
The film is beautifully shot, especially all the night scenes, because the night scenes are imbued with a real sense of mystery, because of how you shot it. The day scenes are always very stark and very clinical, but very helpful in terms of exposing the truth in some ways. But the night is full of mystery. What was your approach toward the visual quality of the film for the day and night scenes?
Yeah, that night is the realm of projections and fantasies, which is pretty much our film is about. And yeah, with my DOP Robert Mali, we decided this film to be shot on 35 millimeter film, because we felt that yeah, this is a really mysterious story, and we wanted to make an accent on that, and we wanted to escape the perfectness, the sharpness of digital images, and rather embraced the secret and the grains and the unsharpness of old celluloid material, and so that was one important thing, and we were looking for points of references when we were approaching the visualization of the screenplay, and I saw a picture of a photograph of an American photographer, Saul Leiter. I don't know if I pronounce his name correctly. And from the 60s, it was a street photo made in a taxi, or not made. We see a taxi on a New York street, and we only see on the back seat we see a man's arm like holding this handle. And that's all we see of him. And then I called Robbie, the DP, that I found something. I found our Drexler, the main character. That's how we are supposed to show him in this film. And then we were going through this photographer's work, and he was a big inspiration for us.
Well, you do such a great job of showing that nighttime is not only the domain of fantasy, but also the domain of hope.
Yeah.
That's where she lives a lot of her life there. Thank you so much. I mean, what are you working on next?
I'm writing a screenplay now. It's a contemporary adaptation of the Pygmalion myth.
Oh. So, well, we're really looking forward to whatever you have to offer us whenever you're ready. Good luck on all your future projects, and we hope you have a wonderful 2021. And thank you again for such an excellent film. We're really pleased to be able to show it here for CFI. Thank you.
I thank you so much.